Hello friends, family, and internet strangers, Stephanie here, and today I have got some summer sides and sweets for you. This is part of a monthly collab hosted by Tiffany over at Small Town 6. Every month it's a different type of food that we are making here, so we've got summer sides and sweets this month. I will have the playlist linked down below so you can check out all of the videos featured, and then also I will have Tiffany's channel, Small Town 6, down below in the description box. But for now, let's get right into some really easy but tasty summer sides and sweets. I have 4 recipes for you in this video, 3 of them super simple. The last one still fairly simple, but this first one only has 3 ingredients. This is a really easy cucumber salad with Italian dressing, and all you need for this are cucumbers, red onion, and Italian dressing. That is literally it. I also have a ranch version of this coming up right after this. I had these mini cucumbers left. They had been on sale at Aldi the week that I made this, so I just used up the ones that I had left and then cut up a red onion. I am slicing these pretty thin. You can also use one of the little mandolin things if you want really easy slices, or if you're going to a party and you're bringing this and you want it to look fancy. I really am just making this for myself, so I didn't care that everything wasn't exactly even. But what I do care about, I hate the little onion hairs on my cutting board and on my knife, so I did have to wipe all of that down. I used only a quarter of this onion. It was a pretty decent size red onion, so with the amount of cucumber, I just kind of eyeballed it and saw what looked like it would be enough. Originally I thought I would do half of this onion, but a quarter was definitely plenty. I had a little bit of this Aldi knockoff brand of the Olive Garden dressing left, so I poured that in, shook it all up. I just used a container with a lid so I could shake it instead of stirring it, and this worked out really well. I set it in the fridge to marinate, and then I ate it with a burger patty, some beans, and chips. And I do make my own beans, not on this particular day, but I have that recipe I can link down below because that's another great summer side. It is always a hit at my family's parties whenever we make our homemade baked beans, so I will have that video again linked below. That's one that I did. It was really fun. It was a little challenge between my mother and I to see who could make our baked beans the best. This is going to be very similar, so I am doing the same thing but with a different cucumber. The next week, Aldi had these seedless cucumbers on sale, and since I had loved the Italian one so much, I decided to try it again, but with ranch, because now I had ranch dressing that needed to be used up. So I did the same exact thing. I did eyeballed amount of cucumber and red onion, again using another quarter of a red onion, and then just eyeballing the dressing on this one and shaking it up. This turned out really well, so the key to these, the longer you let them sit in the fridge, so I recommend overnight, the better they taste because the cucumbers just kind of soak up that dressing, and it's really good. This one I had with a sub that I had bought and then some Watergate salad. So Watergate salad is the next thing on here, and this is also really easy, but this one is a side or a sweet. My family always served it as a side, but it's very desserty, so you could also use this as a dessert if you'd like. This is kind of like what some would call a jello salad, some would call a fluffy salad. It is that kind of thing, one of those recipes that dates back to the 50s and 60s. So this is a package of miniature marshmallows and a can of crushed pineapple, not drained. You don't want to drain it because you want all of those juices to just absorb right into those marshmallows. This is best if you do this part of it the night before you're going to need this. So I put that in the fridge overnight. Next day I came back to it, and you can see that those marshmallows are nice and soft now, having absorbed all of that pineapple juice. So I give it a quick little stir, and then I'm going to add in my pistachio pudding mix. So I just use 1 package of the Jello pistachio pudding mix, and this is gonna go right into my mixture that I've got going on here. So I've got that going in. It's going to turn green as you mix it up. And that pudding mix isn't going to fully absorb right away. So this is good to do not necessarily overnight beforehand, but a few hours before you're going to need to serve it so that it can really incorporate there. You can use whatever Cool Whip you'd like. I had the 0 sugar kind, so I used that. There is plenty of sugar elsewhere in this recipe between the natural sugar in the pineapple and the sugar in the marshmallows and the pistachio mix. And that's it. You just stir it up until you get all of that nice and green goodness. And again, served this with my ranch cucumbers and my nice sub that I had gotten. This last one is not too complicated, but this is a family favorite. This recipe came from my grandmother on my mom's side. She got it, I believe, from a coworker, is what my mother had told me. I actually made this all the way back in December because zucchini had been on sale at Aldi and I was craving this. But this is great for summer because zucchini and pineapple, nothing better in the summer. So I am combining all my dry ingredients first. That's going to be your standard baking mix of flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and then this has cinnamon, which I say measure with your heart. I use extra cinnamon in mine, and then a little bit of nutmeg. Set this aside once you've got all of that mixed together, and then it's time for your wet ingredients. We are going to mix up some eggs. I've got the KitchenAid going, and you want this to get nice and frothy, so it should be a thick mixture. So to my eggs, I am adding my sugar and letting those get nice and incorporated. I'm also going to add my oil at this point in time. So eggs, sugar, and oil going in together, and then my vanilla is going to go in with that as well. And then once this is nice and frothy, I'm going to stir the other ingredients in. So you can see here it's got some nice bubbles in it and a nice frothy texture. And then I add in my shredded zucchini. My conundrum though, when I made this, I didn't have any sort of grater yet. So I used a food processor and I can't speak anymore at this point. I used a food processor and I also tried just like peeling the zucchini. A peeler, that's the word I was looking for. I tried to peel the zucchini. I got it into small pieces and this turned out fine, but I definitely need to try this again now that I have a grater because I think it'll turn out a little bit better than the last time I made it. But once I add my drained pineapples, which I'm using crushed pineapples, and my zucchini, I'm going to also add in all of the dry mixture in small batches because you're not using a mixer for this. You want to blend this by hand. So you want to do it in small batches to make sure everything gets nice and incorporated. Now this recipe does make at least 2 loaves of this bread, but I still had extra after I was done making my 2 loaves. I used kind of smaller loaves, so I had plenty left over and I got a muffin tin out and started working with that. If you've never seen me do this before, I keep butter wrappers in the freezer because I find that is the best thing to use to grease your pans. So I will keep these, I will pull them out of the freezer when I need them, and literally all I'm doing is wiping this whole thing down with this butter wrapper. But the excess butter that goes on there, it just works out so perfectly, and these turn out so well. You get a little bit of that hint of butter on the outside of them when you do it this way. And I also do this for things like cakes. It just is my favorite way to grease a pan. And so it does not stick. It comes out of the pan really well when you do this, but also you get that little bit of butter hint to all of your baked goods. And these in particular, it works out well because these are best served with butter on them. My mother always has butter out when she makes this, and you can see just how nicely all of these came out of the pan. And then I also had my nice loaves here. I sliced this up, I brought it to work, and it was a hit. People were asking me for the recipe the next day. Thanks so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you are new here, I really hope you'll hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out Tiffany's channel, Small Town 6, and the playlist linked down in the description box below. Let me know in the comments what of these recipes you would like to try.